First, I would like to point out that I've never. First, I would like to point out I've never brought out the demon when playing this game, so that's one of the reasons why I actually chose to bring out the demon. But we got a small number of news stories to get to, so let's just jump right into it. As it is a slow day for news, but at the same time, it is our break day for news, what that means is we take it easy, we take it slow, and we mix things up by not having a lot of news today. We start with the ever-evolving New Japan Cup. As the New Japan Cup hit the semifinals last night, well, actually earlier today, because it says it took place on Sunday, where David Finlay and Tama Tonga collided, and Sanada and Mark Davis replaced the injured Will Ospreay, and Sanada, after his defeat of Tetsuya Naito, announced that he was no longer a part of Los Ingobernables de Japón, basically insinuating that he reached everything he could and he had done everything he could in Los Ingobernables de Japón over the last few years, and needed to branch out and do some other things in professional wrestling, and the only way he could do that is forming a new faction where he was not, I guess, considered the muscle of the faction or backup to Tetsuya Naito like he was in Los Ingobernables, because it was pretty obvious with most people that Tetsuya Naito in Los Ingobernables was the leader of the faction, and that there wasn't a secondary leader. It was that Naito was the leader, and that's it. Speaking of Naito, Naito also competed with Hiromu Takahashi against Lio Rush and Yo on the card, as well as the United Empire. Jeff Cobb and Kyle Fletcher and Aaron Hanar and Grado Khan competed in separate tag team matches respectively against Tomoaki Honma and Yoshihashi and Shingo Takagi and Bushi respectively. Also on the card, it was an 8-man tag team match. Evil showed Dick Togo and Yujiro Takahashi against Minoru Suzuki, El Desperado, Ren Narita, and Ryusuke Taguchi. The Bullet Club, in a 6-man tag team match, Kenta, El Fantasmo, and Chase Owens against Toriano, Ryo Oiwa, and Tomohiro Ishii. And the last match that was a part of it was Shota Umino and Oscar Nebui against TMDK, Zack Sabre Jr., and Koji Fujita. As far as the New Japan Cup is concerned, Tama Tonga came up short against David Finlay, the new leader of the Bullet Club, and Sanada defeated Mark Davis, who replaced Will Ospreay once again, as Will Ospreay sustained an injury, and, well, Mark Davis stepped up for his stablemate. And now we have the finals, which will take place on March 21st, to determine the winner of the New Japan Cup. And it will be David Finlay against Sanada. I do believe, I could be wrong with this, but I do believe that the winner of the New Japan Cup does receive a world title match. Or might receive a world title match. I mean, again, I could be wrong, but I do believe that is the case. But that is the first update. We now move to... move over to an update on FTR, as Dax Harwood has said that with FTR's contract up in April, it has been rumored that FTR would be taking a break from AEW. That FTR would be taking a break from AEW and, doing other things. And basically, that had changed from the standpoint of some viewers because of the fact that FTR returned recently at AEW Revolution and, well, basically started a feud with the Guns. And now the question became, what happens next? Because you can't really see FTR defeating the Guns if they're still under the impression of, if they're still under the impression of the idea that they're going to be stepping away from the company. But the idea is, number one, there has been rumors of FTR sticking with AEW because of the fact that AEW would be more likely to allow them to do, the indie, some indie dates and basically work New Japan and stuff like that than WWE would. And that's why they would stick with, AEW, but also be able to do some indie dates while sticking with AEW, which I think if there's anything most likely that they'd be doing, it's probably that. As far as, an update on what officially they're going to be doing, we won't know that until we will know, apparently, according to Dax Harwood, we will know that in the not too distant future. Now we shift over to Steve Austin. As Steve Austin says, he hasn't heard anything from WWE, which it could be that means that he just hasn't heard anything from WWE as far as a match at WrestleMania in the not too distant future, like in the recent times, where it is that last year there were rumors, last summer or fall, he was offered to fight Brock Lesnar and he turned it down. So it is possible that he just hasn't been offered anything in the not too distant future. I mean, in the current past. But based on what he said to the Wrestling Classic, it seems like to me, this is from Fightful, it seems to me that, just take this spot, this sentence, WWE has a good roster, as good a roster as they had since the Attitude Era. They have a deep roster. There are so many guys and gals who need those coveted spots. There are plenty of they have plenty of names and talent to draw from. They should shine a light on the cameras on the current superstars. To me, it seems possible that Steve Austin may have turned down a spot at WrestleMania to allow WWE the opportunity to spotlight the talent that they have nowadays. Which I honestly don't think that there's anything wrong with that. And I think that, if anything, you got to give props to Steve Austin for turning down a WrestleMania payday to give that payday to people that actually work, the active wrestlers that currently work for the company. Not to say that what he did last year with Kevin Owens was doing a disservice to the talent. It wasn't, and it didn't. But the fact of the matter is, you got to give props to him for, wanting to give the spotlight to the current crop of talent and not take it for himself. And the last update is from Saraya, as there were back and forth of if Saraya actually did get fined by AEW for what happened last week on Dynamite when she cussed out the fans and also flipped them off, flipped them the bird. And apparently the reason why she was fined, she actually was fined, and it seems like the reason why she was fined was because she used profanity and gave the fans the finger without informing the coach that she was going to do it. That the reason why she was fined was because she did not inform the coach that, or the producer, that's what she did it and acted on her own, as opposed to letting the producer know that she was going to do it before she did it. So that is the reason why she did it. Or as Saraya, revealed on her own, she revealed that basically she was fined for saying banned vulgar words on Dynamite. But I understand now with that clarity, I understand why she was fined. It's because she went off script. She went off on her own, and instead of getting, she basically what's the word? Asked forgiveness instead of asking permission for something that she thought would work. And again, I have to respect her for that, because sometimes, If it works, then it works. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But sometimes asking permission is better than asking forgiveness is better than asking permission. Simple as that. And I just want to say a little note from this e-wrestling news article is, additionally, AEW talent have been discouraged from flipping off the audience members and body shaming going forward. I think that this is one of the reasons why being a heel in wrestling today is so impossibly difficult, because that companies put such limitations on what you can and what you can't do as a heel to get heat, to make the fans want to hate you, because that's kind of the point of being a heel. I think that there will always be heels in professional wrestling, but the fact of the matter is, it is so difficult to be a heel that it makes it impossible to know what you can and can't do nowadays, because you're discouraged from actively getting the fans involved and making them a part of the product and a part of the show. I understand body shaming is something that should be discouraged, but flipping the fans off is not something that should be discouraged, especially if you get the permission of the producer of the match instead of doing it on your own. Or if all you have to deal with is getting fined, screw it, do it, and then just get fined and deal with it later. As long as it works and as long as it fits the segment. If it doesn't, abide by the fine and just don't do it. But that's just my opinion. I have the old school mentality that, some things that are not approved in wrestling nowadays should still be approved in wrestling to allow heels to be heels, because it's still a show and it's still for entertainment purposes. But that's just my opinion. Either way, I could talk about this for hours on end, and I'm sure at some point we probably will, but either way, that's just my opinion. I will pass on that for now and let you guys go. I'll let you guys know that this is something that we're going to be doing more often, and that is taking it easy on Sundays, going slow, and just, shooting the shit on Sundays, as opposed to, the formal news videos like we get every other day during the week. Either way, that's it for me on this news video, and I will see you in the next video.